Okay, hello everyone. Just got back from watching Prometheus. As in, I just barely walked in the door. I pretty much already had the camera set up waiting for me, and okay, as soon as I get home. But yeah, I said I'm gonna make a reaction video same day, so that means this is unscripted, and this is just my straight reaction. I seriously just watched Prometheus an hour ago. It's a bit of a ride to get to the theater. But, okay. Let's get this part out of the way. Was Prometheus worth watching? It depends on what you want it to be. Now, what does everyone want it to be? Everyone wants it to be an amazing, epic return to the alien form. I mean, we got Ridley Scott. He said with Alien, the original Alien, that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre in space, and it delivered, and we were enthralled with that. And Aliens was James Cameron. That was also great. Alien 3's kind of depressing, and Resurrection is fun, but not really considered a canon Alien film by most of the people who have any respect for the series. Where does Prometheus sit in with all of this? Prometheus doesn't have the word alien in the title because the alien creature of the Alien series pretty much never makes an appearance. I kind of thought that might be the case to some extent with the trailers that I saw, because I'm like, for an alien film, there sure aren't that many aliens in it. I don't see any in the trailer, even the shadow of one, like one frame, and then it continues, like, there's your scare, there's your tease. There wasn't a tease, it wasn't there. And that's because in the film, for all intent and purposes, it's not there. So you're probably asking, well, how can it be an Alien prequel when there's no Xenomorph? What's it prequeling? It's sort of kind of going with this idea of how were they made. Now, we already figured from all the teasers and everything, the space jockeys made them, and kinda, yeah, but for some reason, that's not the extent they go to in it. It's not the space jockeys went ahead and meticulously created this biomechanoid creature. It kind of... It's got a really weird narrative going on. As an Alien film, this does not work. It's got so much... Scripting this would have been better, but you're seeing my real reaction here. It's really confusing. It's like... I sat down watching it, and I'm looking at it like, this is artsy. This scene is poetic. This is, as subtle as cinder block to the nuts, but this guy is obviously foreshadowing here, in this line he's saying. And it just came off like it was meant to be some kind of art piece and say some valuable lesson. But the valuable lesson it goes on is cliche. And what does it say by the end? It doesn't even answer its own question. And I know that's kind of it's up to you to decide. But it's going to be in the second half of this video that I'm going to say the spoilers. It's going to be in the same video, so keep watching. This first part, I'm going to try and be spoiler-free. And the second half, I'm going to say a lot of the things that really bug me, that I have to spoil. Now... okay, so you got this movie, and it's artsy-fartsy. And it's supposed to be an alien film. Okay, well, what happens in it? Well, one thing that they had in the teasers, and I can tell you, is they have Mr. Wayland. He's there. He's not played by Lance Henriksen. His name is not Charles Bishop Wayland. I can't remember who played him. I think it's probably the same guy from the trailers, or the teasers, I should say. With 900 pounds of age makeup on him. And he, acting-wise, he does okay. He acts really old. And his motivation makes sense. when you get down to it. But his name is Peter Weyland, so going by that, we can assume that the AVP movies didn't happen. The events of Requiem depended on the events of the first one. The events of the first one were led by Mr. Weyland, Charles Bishop Weyland. Mr. Weyland is now Peter Weyland. Different Weyland, different storyline. But there are things in Prometheus that don't add up to lead to Alien either. So, your characters, as far as I'm concerned, only one was really fleshed out, kind of. That was the main female lead. Elizabeth. Yes, that was it. Can't remember her last name. She, at first glance, I just picked up this vibe of take Ripley and Lambert and fuse the two together. There you go. And she has the most fleshed out, unique character perspective. The others are pretty damn stereotypical. And some of them, they shift gears, and it just really doesn't make sense. This one. Okay. Okay, that's going to be for the spoilers section. I can't really say that without giving away a bit more. Okay, well, the question in the movie. Fuck, is that a spoiler too? Yeah, this is really getting hard. Okay, who do I recommend this movie for? I recommend this movie for people who are interested in a artistic look at where do we come from? What is the origin of life? What is the responsibility of one that creates life? And that such thing. Who do I not recommend this movie for? Alien fans, horror fans, science fiction fans might get a little bit out of the tech, but if you're interested in the tech from the Alien franchise, this is going to be a little disappointing. Okay. So, overall quality of the film, it's really hard to say because the acting, the characters are bleh, except for one. And they're still meh. And, but the acting is pretty decent. The direction is good. It's got good angles, good shots, well done setups. There weren't really any continuity errors I could see outside of problems connecting to Alien. And this is only all in one viewing, of course. When I do a full review, of course I watch it more than once. But, and generally, I can change my opinion on the overall quality during the review process as I'm meticulously picking through every single scene. But as it stands, as an Alien movie, it's not. As an art movie, it tries really hard, comes really close, but really doesn't say anything. As science fiction, it's flashy. As horror, it really doesn't have many horror moments. It's got some, and a couple. One relatively long is pretty well put together, but the eventual payoff is a big facepalm for any Alien fan. And the other is also, well, it's not long, but it's not the greatest if you're looking for the Xenomorph, but it is pretty impressive visually. It's over quick and what have you, but it does give a little bit of a, ooh, this is a little bit exciting. Look at that. Alright, so overall rating for this movie, really hard to say in a 1 to 5 scale. It's certainly not a 5, but it's not a 1. Not a 2. It's better than that. 4 or 3. I'd say it fails too much on what it could have been in both art and as an Alien movie. It cannot possibly be a 4. As a 3, that's kind of something that's good if you like that sort of thing, but this isn't really something that has much of a target audience when you get down to it. So, yeah. At best, I'd say it's a 3. It's just... It's got some great ideas hidden somewhere in it, and it's got definite talent put into making the images come out, telling its story, and the actors do give it their all. But the overall plot and a lot of the things put forth just don't work. And the aliens in it are not the aliens that we know whatsoever. We get kind of close at one point. Sorta. But they're like alternate versions. And you're like, hey, that's kind of like a facehugger. Oh, now it made a thing that bursts from the chest. But it's not a chest burster. Oh, look, another facehugger. That's fucking gigantic. How does that work? It's, really, yeah. Okay. So, do I recommend this movie to Alien fans? No. To horror fans? No. Science fiction, yeah. And those interested in artsy-fartsy, you might get something out of this. Go for it. It's not terrible, but it's really not great. And having such profound points at some of it, in some of the scenes, and to just kind of come off blah, and the overall thing just falls flat. You just can't say that this movie was great or really good. I'd watch it again. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see it some more. I'm looking forward to reviewing it when it comes out on DVD. But as a something that I'll say, this is my favorite, this is great, this is one of the ones that just stays on my shelf. I polish it every day. Look at that. Prometheus. He just loves saying that. Prometheus. No. I mean, I love saying that, but I'm not going to cherish the movie that much. I'll just go in the bathroom and be like, Prometheus. And that'll be it. Okay. Round 2. Spoiler alert. The remainder of this video is loaded with spoilers. Okay. So, the trailer gave me a hint that this was going to have some kind of a AVP feel to it. And that is true to some extent, but it's not as hardcore as AVP in the terms of the scientists. There are scientists here, and they make up the majority of the people. But it's not really the main thing like in AVP. And, well, basically, what happens? They start out, they find... Well, okay, the movie starts out with this prologue that is like, the fuck. But I don't think that's really important whatsoever to the story. It's not really a prologue, it's just kind of a quick glimpse of things to come, I guess, and it's really weird, and even put forth in the sense of things that then come in a movie don't really make sense. But the real movie starts out, they discover a find. We haven't seen this as the start of a movie before, where it's fucking guy going around outside my apartment. It's making this seem like a silly video. Anyway, it sounds like a clown having sex. The movie starts out, they discover cave paintings, and these cave paintings display the people pointing, his hand looks like a foot, at the sky, and there's these circles set up in a specific pattern, and that's the part from the trailer where they say, we found this in all of these different cultures. You put it together, and they all point at these same circles in this same pattern, and there happens to be a planetary system just like that, so far away from Earth that they couldn't have seen it there. Of course, considering we're only looking at 3% of the sky, I'm sure that that planetary system will pop up somewhere else, but that specific array is right there in this one spot, and we can get there, now that it's the year 2090s, whatever the fuck. It's, I think it was still the 21st century. Might have been into the 22nd by then, but I'm pretty sure it was still the 21st. So everyone gets aboard, and they're all on the... Well, you don't see them get aboard, really. That happens off camera. So instead, you're already aboard, everyone's in their pods, they're frozen. And then you got the one guy walking around. And he's walking like... Well, that might be a little exaggerated, but you know the androids from Alien and Aliens and Alien Resurrection that you could not tell were human? Fuck that! This guy may as well just look at people and like, does not compute. He's painfully obvious that he's the android right as you see him. Which isn't so bad if they, want to say, hey, he's the android. They did that in Aliens. They're like, Bishop, he's the android. But he still acted human-ish. Mostly human. I mean, he had empathy. That's not so good with humans, usually. But, as it stands, this guy in Prometheus, David, really robotic. Kudos for the acting. But what the fuck was Ridley Scott thinking with that direction? And I don't know why he would need to practice physical abilities, but the part where he's biking in a circle is kinda weird. And the part in it where he throws the basketball while on the bicycle, going in the circle, and makes the basket is kind of Resurrection-ish. Of all the things to pay homage to, and in all the ways to pay homage to something. What the fuck was that scene doing in the movie? Anyway, people wake up, and apparently the prototype hyper sleep pods, while they look a hell of a lot sleeker than the ones I got now, apparently they aren't so good when it comes to waking up. People don't just feel kinda meh like they did in Alien and Aliens. But instead they're, incredibly dehydrated, sweating profusely in every orifice, and, vomiting their guts out. Generally not a pleasant status. But hey, they got sweet paint jobs. It's so slick. It's nice. Yeah. So some of the technology is way better, and some of the technology is not so good. And the way the ships look, well, mainly the human ships, human tech in Aliens, script, Ben, edit! No time! Must make this video. The technology does not look like Alien. The technology doesn't have that kind of real grittiness to it at all, let alone the fact that the technology in Prometheus looks far superior than it does in Alien. It looks similar in some ways, but it's still done way further. And one of my subscribers told me the spacesuits look like they come out of Star Trek, the movie, the recent one. And yeah, they do. They do have. They are. I see that they're based on the spacesuits from Alien, but they're so made sleek and slick and technologically advanced now that they look more like the ones from Star Trek. And the technology on the ship, when you look at things, everything is very clean and straight and sterile. It does not look like something that people have been using very much. And granted, this one people technically really haven't, but still, it gives a feeling of believability and warmth to a place when you see some clutter or some debris or a little dirt. It looks like they built it just to do that, which is what you do when you're making a set, which is not good when you're making a movie. So, okay, the space jockeys. A lot shorter. Let's get that out of the way. Look human. Let's get that out of the way. Spoiler, big spoiler. Have human DNA. Not just a little. Not like a good percentage like a chimpanzee. Exact match. If that's the case, why the fuck are they all bald, super muscular, twice as big as us, even though, before they were like 4 times as big, but, twice as big. And have that big-ass flat nose thing going on. Any reason why they got that whole Easter Island head thing going for them? If they have the exact same DNA, how does the exact same DNA build such a different organism? It plays with science, and it fails. They talk about, that the space jockey is now referred to in this movie as the, the engineer, which makes a little sense when you're saying what they did. They engineered the human race. They created us. But of course, if they already were us, all they had to do was kind of, ha! Made humans! Yeah. They're engineers now, and they create other life, which is, okay. The only other life we have any evidence of them creating is, this is the big thing. They find it, they go there, Mr. Wayland is, put forth $1 trillion for this, so that he's not fucking around, to do this mission, to go there, to meet the Maker. They get there, and they find out, hey, there's all this, stuff in jars, and hey, it's biological weapons. And how does this stuff work? Well, it's black goo. But people walking around creates worms somehow. The black goo ingested turns someone into this hulking monster. Not a xenomorph, not even close. He gets his beard out like here, and he looks like a killer version of Paul Bunyan. He's climbing around on things, kind of like Mr. Hyde, jumping and roar! And it's like, what the hell is this guy doing in the movie? I wanted a xenomorph. You get your first facehugger, and it's not a facehugger. It looks like a dick with no balls. Think of a snake if it were flesh tone and had a dick head. Except that dick head was wings. Why, if it's not going to, hug faces with that? Which it doesn't, it just goes bloop down the throat. Why does it have the little... to have that whole whee scare? I can see no biological reason for it. Unless when they get down there, they gotta hold on to the stomach. Okay, I don't have too much time left on this video. I gotta... Oh, fuck me. So, your aliens consist of the dick, After guy gets the hide stuff in him and fucks someone who's barren, they become pregnant with the new baby. And there's the chest burster that looks like a squid. It's just straight, no head, no discernible head at all. It's got 4 little blah, 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 and it's blue. The fuck? So that's Mr. Hyde's baby. Now Mr. Hyde's baby grows to be about 15 feet tall, I say, give or take. And it's got, big toothy mouths and everything. And what is it? It's this big tentacly thing. It looks kind of like the concept art in Alien before they had the alien creature in it, where they had that weird thing like that had the backwards joints on the legs and a bunch of tentacles for the arms. It looks kind of like that one. And that grabs a space jockey, and apparently that giant fucking thing is a facehugger. Because it's more like a facehugger than the dick was. That's just the, throat fucker. So you got your face crusher and throat fucker. Those are the forms introduced in this movie. Black goo, face fucker, throat... face crusher, throat fucker. And, the, final creature looks almost like a xenomorph. The head is pointy. The second mouth kind of comes down from the gum line, more like the extra sets of teeth in sharks, and it doesn't have a tail. Not to mention its hands are much more humanish, and the fingers are just really damn long. I mean, I see what they were going with here. I do. They're showing the evolution of the creature as it goes from its black goop phase to xenomorphish. But that still doesn't explain where the hell the eggs came from. The climax just doesn't match the climax of, the setup in Alien. They find the ship, it's, kind of on its side, maybe crashed, and yeah, the ship crashes. They have that. There's a space jockey piloting it, yes. But he wasn't face-hugged. Why was the one in the ship in Alien got his ribs popped out? And why the hell didn't they find the other 4 people who died in that area in Alien? It's, recent enough there should have at least been bones left over. But they weren't there, and they had a shit ton of eggs. Who laid those eggs? That's not answered. That was the question on my mind. How did those eggs get there? Why were they set up in such a way? What laid them? How'd they make them? The big thing is, it's the whole story is this. It's this commentary on life, the responsibility of making it, and a subtext that kind of plays around with the idea of abortion and sort of kind of wedges half-ass Christianity in there a bit. I don't know if it was an artistic accident that as soon as the cross was off the girl, she's declaring that she wants the, chestburster fetus taken out, destroyed, whatever, is like, abort the fucking thing! I don't have the cross on me right now! Abortion, now! It's so... And the final thing, the question they raise in the movie is finally, okay, the space jockeys made this black goop and they were going to bring it to Earth, but they were stopped because they had the outbreak there of the goop, and so they couldn't bring it to Earth to kill all of us. Why do they want to kill us? Kill all of us. They made us. Well, that was never actually proven in the movie, but still, they made us. Apparently, they don't like us anymore, so they want to kill us. Why? That's never answered. What reason do they have to destroy, well, with that shit, not just the entire human race, but the entire biosphere of Earth? What reason to annihilate it? I was bored. And, okay, I really don't have much time left on this video. No reason for that. But then, the big thing. Oh, well, they have other ships. Okay. Did they all have accidents with the shit and they couldn't fly out to destroy us? If they had several other ships set up, wouldn't one of them have been like, okay, we're fine here, going off to destroy that fucking planet, haha. And if they're going to destroy the whole biosphere, why not just nuke the whole place? I'd think they'd have that kind of capability if they can do all that. And it seems like an awful, well, I guess if they want to repopulate it, maybe just destroy the biosphere. But after you completely annihilate all life, it's really hard to seed new life. But, okay. Yeah. It's getting towards the end of the video. Prometheus. Interesting movie. Very interesting. I hate those airplanes. They're ruining my audio, and this is like the climax of my film. But it's just so not Alien, and so not an art film, and not a horror film, because there's just a lot of talking and walking, and it's not suspenseful. That I don't know. It's not the movie any of us wanted, I guess, is really the big thing. Every hope, every dream you had of what Prometheus could be, it's not. What it is watchable. It has its moments. It can be a nice way to spend an afternoon. It's not scary, it's not Alien, and it tries to be, but it really isn't art. Thank you all for watching, and I didn't write anything for this part, so I don't know what to say. Oh yeah, and remember, script! It helps.